Hey, what's up guys? It's Mark Yoon and today I'm bringing another hopefully exciting video. So I'm actually joined by two special guests today, KittyMeowser Gaming and with Matt. And they are also two YouTubers who you can find in my description box down below. And we wanted to actually talk about our opinions on the positives of Libra of Souls in Soulcalibur 6. So I know we shadowed over it last time, but this time we wanted to actually talk about some more positives. So I'm going to let them talk first, and then we're going to stay tuned at the end for my opinion. And I just wanted to let you know in advance if these were pre-recorded, so if we overlap with some of our opinions, I'm sorry for that. But let's get right into it.
Hello there, my name is SolarFlare 95, or Matt if you'd prefer, and I am here to share my thoughts on Soulcalibur 6's Libra of Soul mode. Personally, I really like it. I mean, it's no Chronicles of the Sword from Soulcalibur 3, sure, but I mean, for what it is, it's very enjoyable. And there are quite a few things I enjoyed about it. First of all, the two new characters, Grow and Aswell, play very prominent roles in it, and I quite liked their involvement. Aswell especially, as I find him to just be a very entertaining character. And also, I liked a lot of the lore that it added to the series. For example, there is a quest called Opening Roads in which you help a woman named Lissalot to convince the Hidden Village clan race, which are essentially kind of like elves, pretty much, to allow a village to open a trade route through their forest home, and you get to you befriend one of them, and you also get to learn a bit about the Hidden Village clan, and it's rather interesting. And there are many quests like that. There is one also that is particularly interesting with Zosolomel, where you get to learn all about him, and also it has a big teaser for one of my favorite characters, Algol, to possibly play a role in future installments. Also, speaking of characters, I liked a lot of the little side characters introduced in Libra of Souls as well. Especially Aswell's two cronies, Valtro and Daniel, I believe their names were, as well as Grow's two companions, Dion and Natalie. As well as people like Volta the blacksmith. I thought she was fun. As well as the woman I mentioned earlier, Lissalot. I found her to be very funny and entertaining. Also, I really liked the RPG aspect of the game, as I am a pretty big fan of the RPG genre, and Soulcalibur diving into that genre just feels like a perfect fit in my opinion. And let's see. And one thing I also really liked was, as opposed to games like Dragon Ball Xenoverse and Jump Force, Libra of Soul actually gives your character a bit of personality. Granted, it's not much, but it's a lot more than games like Jump Force and Xenoverse, where a character will say something or tell you to go somewhere and your character will just like silently nod, and it's very awkward. But in Libra of Soul, like I said, your character does get a bit of personality. For example, there's a quest where you encounter Nightmare, and your character is like just so like afraid they start trembling, and it's much appreciated, you know, because not a lot of games that feature a character creator really give the created character much of a personality. Now, I get that the point is to have it be a blank slate so that you can kind of project yourself into the game, but still, you know, they could at least give your character something, and that is what was done in Libra of Soul, and I really liked that. So overall, I would have to say I quite liked the mode a lot. It adds some interesting lore to the series. The story was decent. I like the RPG mechanics, and yes, those would be my thoughts. I would love to know yours. Please let me know. Bye.
KittyMeowser here. So I know in the collaboration video, me and Mark kind of tore Libra of Souls a new one, but I did want to do a double take of it, and since I haven't touched Libra of Souls since the game originally came out, I did kind of go in with a little bit more of an open mind and a different perspective. So I will admit some of the positives that I will say for Libra of Souls. It is nice that they have seemed to have updated the game mode a little bit more in comparison to when it first came out, because me and Mark complained a lot about the whole having to spend money to travel, but now they've kind of added in a fast travel where you can go to certain parts and just play instead of having to spend money. So it does seem like there are certain areas or certain battles you do have to spend money to get to, but at the very least you can get close to it and then just go from there, which is really nice. It just makes the whole game mode a lot smoother, so I'm very glad they added that in. That is definitely a positive that kind of puts Libra of Souls more in a better direction. Another positive I'd say is something I really didn't, I guess, take note of before until really like playing it again more recently, is the fact that the battles are a little bit more different than I thought they were, and they're a little bit more reminiscent of older Soulcalibur games when it came to like Edge Master mode and Weapon Master mode. In the sense that like there are criterias to battles, not all of them, but quite a few of them, and some of them you don't necessarily really notice a difference, but the whole slipping and sliding around the map, those were really fun ones. The ones where you can only really truly damage an opponent with critical edges or no ring outs, so then you don't have to worry about like ring outs happening. So it is kind of nice seeing those in there, and I guess I just really didn't take note of them as much before. Of course, an obvious one is the lore. Now that I'm actually played further into Libra of Souls and getting more into what's going on and getting to see other characters and stuff like that, it is pretty cool to see that. This kind of, I feel like, might not have as much to do with Libra of Souls, but it kind of does. I do like the created characters, characters that are obviously made via Create Soul, with the fact that they actually created characters similar to kind of how they did in Soulcalibur 5, different characters with like kind of like a personality given to them, and some of them even have names and stuff like that, like bandits and things. So that's actually pretty cool, and I'll honestly admit, seeing some of the created characters kind of gave me ideas of things that I didn't even think about doing with my own creations. So I do appreciate the fact that they did at least put some effort into created characters in the story itself, in the people that you fight. I really do hope that we get more armor for the Lizard Man. Like, seeing the armor in the Libra of Souls made me really want some for the Lizard Man, because it looks really cool. But I also feel like because Lizard Man was in Libra of Souls, Aeon might very well be a character, because the Lizard Man does wield a shield and axe. Though that's probably not how Aeon's gonna fight. Sorry, that's kind of a side note. But yeah, I'd say those are like the positives that I'd give Libra of Souls. I guess I really didn't take into account that they did put a little bit of effort when it came to like the characters that you face in the story mode, the added lore to the story itself, as well as the somewhat kind of technical variety in the battle system. They made the map a lot easier to transition, which was nice, and then gave you the option to just skip dialogue entirely. So that's pretty cool. It's just when you're kind of trying to grind out those just whatever little side missions, it's nice to just kind of get to the mission, get done, and move back to the story. So I still think Libra of Souls could be a lot better. I think they could have done more with it. They could have made it a little bit more engaging, but hopefully, maybe if they do this again, they can spice it up a little bit, add a little bit more reasoning to playing it, because I'll admit, on Xbox One, all of the achievements that revolve around Libra of Soul are extremely rare. So like out of all of the people who've played Soulcalibur, not very many people play Libra of Souls or have gotten very far into it. But yeah, so it's maybe not as bad as what me and Mark initially kind of tore it down with, but it could definitely use more improvements that obviously I don't think they could do in this game, but maybe in the next installment they can do a little bit more with this mode if they decide to stick with it. But those are my thoughts on it.
Alright guys, so thanks for listening to those two, and for me personally, the positive aspects of Libra of Souls actually outweigh the bad. After playing the game for, I guess, about 15 hours, I've beaten the story mode, and my character is like level 70. And I would have to say that like there's a lot of positives that outweigh the negatives when it comes to this mode. I really didn't like it at first, but I really got into it because there's a few aspects that you can't really find anywhere else. Like there are hidden layers of I want to say lore, like tucked inside of different conversations that you can come across. There's as well mentioning on several occasions that Algol is pulling the strings in the background, I think setting up a possible Soulcalibur 7. There is instances where you're teaming up with characters that you haven't seen in a while, like Huang, who's going to be in DLC, and Arthur from a previous bonus character. You have instances where you're bumping into a bunch of story characters and having like really great interactions with them, such as Shanghua and Sungmina. It's just like, it's really fun overall when it comes to like the lore aspect of the game, and it adds a lot of value to it. Not only that, but you also get to use your own created character and level up and go throughout the entire game. So you're actually interacting with them personally yourself, if you created yourself. If not, then your character is. But I was having trouble with the system where the map was moving around, and I found out that actually if you press square on the PlayStation 4 controller, I'm not sure about Xbox, but if you press square, you can actually fast travel, and that actually saves a lot of money and time. And you don't have to actually like fast travel for everything. There are some instances where you have to explore and do like the expedition stuff. And that actually lends kind of value to it, because like you have to kind of be good at the game and measure your health and whatnot, because when you're going on these expeditions, you're encountering people along the way and your health carries over. So if you're not like doing well, or if you're messing up at some points, you'll end the entire expedition, have to start over again, and you waste that money. So I actually kind of like that. It adds a kind of challenge to the game. And another point that I wanted to add is that there's like these masters of blades, I kind of want to say. I don't want to give away too much of the story, but like if you actually max out the level of a certain weapon, like you encounter Edgemaster, and he'll tell you about these like ancients that you have to battle, and they are high leveled and extremely hard, and that actually added a lot of value to the game to me, because it's replay value. You can max out all the weapons, which takes a long time. So I've only done, I think, Gro's weapon in the game so far, but I'm really enjoying that aspect also. Another thing that I wanted to give to the game's credit is the stage stuff. So a lot of times we were talking about on our channel that we wanted like stage stuff back, kind of like Tower of Souls, kind of elemental things, and they actually do have that. There's instances where the enemy is fully charged like soul gauge and stuff, but that doesn't count to me. The stuff I really like is like the slippery floors and like the elemental things, like hitting opponent in the wall does more damage, a lot of that extra stuff, and that kind of stuff like really adds a lot of value to the game for me. With that being said, guys, we're going to bring this video to a close. I want to thank you for watching the video, and I also want to thank Matt and KittyMeowser Gaming for participating in this video. Please go check out both of their channels, I implore you. And I will see you in the next video, guys. Peace.